Oh, yeah. No, right. We deserve every bad thing that happens.
You may think, by the looks of NYTech's Meet-Up, that the group is just a bunch of kids. But the carefully organized pushback U.S. elected officials felt on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. in 2011 showed us this group has the potential to be anything but juvenile, unorganized, or improvised. The 26,000-strong group of New York's technologists piled into Stern Business School's Auditorium for their monthly gathering to discuss their latest business, this time about the Internet and the 2012 election.
High numbers of minorities, and then if the balance in another district changes. But
basically, they chatted profusely about the politics of the World Wide Web in the United States of America.
Let me know, please. Just remind me that we met here.
absolutely.
All right.
This is how we do.
Sponsors NYTech Meet-Up, Engine Advocacy, and NYU's Berkeley Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation brought together three of the world's leaders in the study and development of the Internet. Fred Wilson, venture capitalist who helped start Silicon Alley in New York with what was initially called Flatiron Partners. Fred is considered one of the smartest minds in USA's startup industry. Clay Shirky, new media professor at NYU, author of the book Here Comes Everyone on the Power of Organizing in the Age of Digital Media, and the man TED.com founder Chris Anderson calls prominent thinker on the social and economic effects of Internet technologies. Susan Crawford, Harvard's Shorenstein Center and Harvard Law visiting Stanton professor on the First Amendment, columnist for Bloomberg View and Wired.com, and member of Mayor Bloomberg's New York City Council on Technology and Innovation. While Andrew Ruschiez, the founder of Personal Democracy Forum, served as the moderator. Emotions ran high.
Words are great, but actions really are more important. Watch what they do, not what they say. I haven't seen the president take a courageous stand on technology policy once. He waits till the decision has been made and then gets in front of the decision. He never takes a courageous decision and says, fuck this is bad. He never does that. That's the problem with the president. Now look at Romney, okay? He's worse. You look at the answer.
You heard this?
All my students, I want them to go into public service. I want them to feel that they, get elected to the water board, then something else, and then keep driving, because you understand technology. Some of us will be elected to office, and we'll just keep pushing along. We've tried to educate current congressmen, and it's extraordinarily difficult. So what's needed is just a mass retirement.
But I mean,
You heard that.
Off with their heads.
But the thing is, if politicians understood technology, they could get a real job. So I'm not sure that we have. No, seriously.
You heard.
I want the NYTech Meetup to have a policy perspective. And I want it to be considered when Schumer or Gillibrand or any of our elected congressmen or Bloomberg or Chris Quinn or anybody wants to know what the tech industry thinks, they ought to call the NYTech Meetup and find out. And I think
Everyone had the opportunity to display his or her emotional connection to the Internet. New approaches to the Internet were put forth. Professor Clay Shirky said,
There is this sense that tech means high tech. Means people working low in the stack down towards where the chips and the wires are. And they don't see the fact that every business that starts up in New York now is an internet business in one way or another, that they're all using these tools to advertise, to broadcast, to recruit, to find suppliers, to find vendors, and that the knock-on effects of the infrastructure actually affect the jobs climate of any business outside a mom and pop restaurant, and probably even many of those.
but most important about this NYTech gathering was the realization of its power. Personal Democracy Forum's Andrew said,
The New York City mayor is going to be decided by a Democratic primary in the next election. about 450,000 people vote in the Democratic primary. You need 40% of the vote to be elected mayor. So in effect, 200,000 people are going to select the next mayor of New York. There will be a Republican candidate, but the chances of a Republican candidate spending $75 million the way Mike Bloomberg did and being endorsed by a mayor that has a 90% approval rating is pretty slim.
How many members of the New York Tech Meet-Up?
Well, there's 27,000 members, so we are going to try to...
The sheer size of New York Tech is surprising, and the collective knowledge New York Tech represents is mind-boggling. The participants acknowledge their need to consolidate their political power by finding a common narrative, one message that unites them all.
I think we need a narrative that's easy to understand and easy to communicate to the elected officials, and that narrative needs to be something about, David versus Goliath and the incumbents versus the entrenched monopolies and entrenched incumbents.
Between laughter, seriousness, and applause, one thing was clear. New York Tech media is a powerful force for the future.
I think there should be a tech meetup in every town, city, and everything in between. There needs to be, what exists here in New York City everywhere.
Yeah, Fred posts for me, and I just add, if we can make it easy when one is forming to say, welcome, here's some things we've learned from doing this for a long time, and particularly to make the kind of policy and figure out who your local politicians are clearer so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel 50 times across the state and 10,000 times across the cities.
Right, and I would just add on to that by saying we should make sure that everybody's a leader on tech policy. It isn't a panel speaking in front of a group, yes. And that we give people actionable things to do from the get-go so that they hang on to that momentum. We don't need a soap and pipper. There are a lot of other fights that people can get involved in right off the bat.
So please join me in thanking our tech show.
Until next time, for New York Blog, a partnership between Funglode and Infinity Media in New York, I'm John Gagan, reporting live from NYU's Stern School of Business.